Wouldn't it be better if you put her someplace?
You mean an institution? A madhouse?
You just found the marble in the oatmeal. You're a lucky, lucky, lucky little boy. Do you know why? You get to drink from the fire hose! Okay, you ready? Open wide! I feel like I'm taking crazy pills!
Hey, you want to see crazy?
You really are crazy.
I don't get it, Doc. I mean, how can all this be happening? It's like we're in hell or something.
No, it's Hill Valley, although I can't imagine hell being much worse.
Now you want to get nuts?
Shut up, you freak!
Come on!
I said shut up! It's a madhouse! A madhouse!
Hello and welcome to Movie Madhouse, a Who Watches podcast about movies lost to the annals of time. Like the Turner Classic Movie Film Festival darling Clifford.
That's why this movie's
Travis
been back in
Fishburne.
the zeitgeist recently. Yeah, I'm Alex Brunel.
I'm Dustin Meadows.
And that
recording-
is Clifford. Down there.
And Clifford right there. Which is a very, I mean, that's the current artwork for the movie. It's very terribly done.
I don't think this movie ever...
I didn't quite hear all that, Alex. Uh-oh. Oh no.
Whoops.
Tech issues abound tonight. Yeah. Yeah, doing two people from the same room is more difficult than just zooming from another room entirely.
It's all right. I think it's appropriate that much like Orion Pictures at the time, when this film was supposed to be released, we are beset with difficulties. So, yeah, truly in keeping in the spirit of the movie Clifford.
No, I definitely had watched it multiple times as a child.
Same.
Okay. So
always-
I say, but have any of us seen it as adults? I had not seen it as an adult. I'm back with my microphone.
I watched it about a decade ago.
Okay.
With old Joey Catullo because he loved this
Joey.
movie. And we definitely watched it at least once in the last 10 years together.
That's great. Okay. So what are your let's give a synopsis of this movie really quick. This is what it says on IMDb, and this says nothing about the movie. A bratty 10-year-old boy is obsessed with visiting a dinosaur-themed amusement park. His uptight uncle takes the wily tyke in for a week and barely lives to regret it. Yes. Though that is all that's technically the truth. What this doesn't talk about is the fact that Martin Short plays this 10-year-old boy.
Yes.
This movie was shot in 1990. He was 37 years old at the time it was shot. It doesn't mention that both of the main characters of the movie, Clifford, played by Martin Short, and Uncle Martin, played by Charles Grodin, are two of the most selfish characters in film of the 90s. Martin's motivation the entire movie is to convince his fiancée, Sarah, played by Mary Steenburgen, that he likes kids so that she will continue with the plans to marry him. And Clifford's whole agenda is, I will burn the world to the ground until I get to Dinosaur World. And he does pretty literally that by the time the movie is over. So, yeah, that's the gestalt of Clifford, I think, right?
Yeah. I think a better tagline for this movie would have been, hey, what if the good son wasn't rated R?
Yeah, you know, man, the movies have very similar DNA, and a lot of stuff culturally and in Hollywood happened between 1990 when this movie was shot and 1994 when it came out. Like, in a 1994 world, it seems like it's in the wake of things like Home Alone and the things, and like Dennis the Menace and like that kind of whole thing, and it's not.
People are like, oh, it's time for Mischievous Boys to be in film. Let's release Clifford.
Right.
Also, Charles Grodin, he's on top of the world with Beethoven and Beethoven's Second.
Yeah.
Let's keep this ball rolling.
So, like, it was, just by the time it was released, it was made to look like a little bit behind the curve when really it was a bit ahead, although I don't think it would have fared any better in the world had it been released in 1991.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, the only thing similar to that and released at a similar time was a Problem Child, came out in 1990, which feels like this kind of feels influenced by that to a degree, even though it was being made.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely possible. It's in a very similar vein. Just, you know, the one has a little boy being played by a little boy, and the other one is a movie about gaslighting and pushing people to the break of insanity. Yeah. I mean, which is also what Problem Child is about, but yeah, I don't know. I guess Clifford feels more sadistic in a way.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And it's I mean, like, Martin Short's performance in this movie is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, he's unhinged in this movie. Like, there are several times in this, like, just the looks that he gives throughout this movie is like, you should be committed on that face alone.
Yeah.
There's I think the whole movie is really, like, if a person were to watch one scene from the movie, I think it should be the scene where Martin drags Clifford back to the house, lectures him about how much he hates him. Clifford tries to convince him that he didn't do the pranks at the party, and Martin tries to level with him by the end of the scene, and Martin is just like, he's like, don't do anything weird, okay? And Clifford's just giving him this look. He's like that. Look at me like a human person. Look at me like a person. Look at me like a human boy. He just keeps shouting, and it's unbelievable. to like directly call, regardless of whether he's being played by Martin Short or not, to directly call a 10-year-old boy inhuman to his face while he continues making, like, spaced out, weird, glassy-eyed faces.
Yes. I believe he even goes as far as to say that he hates it.
Yes. He said Martin tells Clifford twice in the movie that he hates him, and once that everyone else hates him. This is the first time he tells Clifford that he hates him directly.
Yeah, we're kind of talking about the film properly right now.
I mean, yeah, I'm talking about the thing. I guess I'm talking about my overall impressions of Clifford.
Yeah.
These are the reasons why it's a thing very much worth revisiting. And there's more to talk about, which we will get into in a more detailed way. But so that, I guess that was my kind of why I love Clifford. This movie is absolutely batshit nuts. And is it rated PG or PG-13?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's rated PG. It's very clean, right?
I mean, I guess. There's
like one joke in this movie I found to be in very poor taste, and that I feel like was the only off-color thing in the whole movie. The rest was just psychological terror.
This is about the toupee.
Yes, that was the line. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think there's the trans joke later in the movie.
That's the joke, yeah.
That's what I figured.
Yeah.
The only other thing is, there's two moments. When he is pressing his face into the stewardess's breast, and then, like, on paper this isn't a big deal, but just the look he turns and gives Charles Grodin when Mary Steenburgen's taking him away.
Yeah.
Like, that look should be rated R. Just the expression on his face. Like, no child should be next to an adult woman and make that face.
See, this is the type of casting decision Blank Check should have made, and then that movie would have been okay.
Oh my. Yeah.
Cast Rob Schneider as the child in Blank Check, and the movie is then not as weird.
Yes, Hervé Villechaize in Blank Check.
That's the best idea. Directed by Lars von Trier.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, so Travis, you were talking about your sense of Clifford.
Oh, and the fact that it's rated PG is crazy because, I watched this on HBO Max, and we've got 2 profiles on our account. We've got, the grown-ups, and then we've got the children's profile. And I'm like, I'm going to log into the children's profile and see if this is listed in the movies. And it is.
Oh, no.
It's listed as a children's movie.
It is not.
I mean, I don't think this movie... I watched this movie a lot as a kid. I think because it was so poorly received and it did so poorly at the box office, it became a very cheap license to broadcast on television ad nauseum.
And that's where I saw it.
Yeah, I remember seeing this on cable a lot.
A lot. So, it's a very... by the books, it is a very clean movie. And I don't think this movie damaged me as a kid because I didn't actually understand what was going on. I just liked the man playing a kid and making funny faces.
Yep.
And the dinosaurs at the end.
And the dinosaur, the whole end set piece is great. Like, when we get to that, I have words for that. That whole thing is awesome. Yeah. D-Meds, do you have anything you wanted to contribute to this part of the chatter?
No, I feel like I've thrown out my general thoughts. I think my good son analogy is my deepest account of this film.
Yeah. So I tried to do some background research about this movie, and it was very difficult. There's really not a lot written about this movie in a historical way online. At least not that I could find. Maybe I didn't dig deep enough. Director Peter Flaherty is still alive. There is a Blu-ray release of this movie that there are no special features on. So there's not any commentary. There's nothing like, I would think that this would be like a Shout Select movie where they'd do like a small assortment of modest but informative bonus features, but not even that, I guess.
Yeah, that's the only reason I'd even be interested in a Blu-ray of this.
Right. So I would love to shine light on... I would love to talk about the script being written and the movie being shot and the editorial changes that so obviously took place at some point during the post-production process and the intervening years between when it was initially shot and when it came out. But I don't know anything. It was originally shot in 1990, and then due to Orion Pictures' impending bankruptcy, it sat on the shelf until about 1993 was when it was taken back off and retooled. And that's when the wraparound scenes with Clifford as an old priest in the year 2050 were shot. And if you watch the movie kind of knowing that, it's very obvious that those scenes were used to patch up the narrative where they had excised large chunks of whatever the film originally was.
Yeah, this movie has 2 intros because of that,
Yes.
essentially. And and they're kind of at odds with one another.
Yeah, and then like an ending that kind of conflicts within itself in like within a 5-minute span.
Yeah, the way the film ends is like, okay then.
Yeah. So there's obviously a larger story about the editorial process, and I don't know if there was a testing process, but like I would be very interested to know what that deal was, but no clue. But they reshot and re-edited in 1993, and the movie finally came out in 1994. And just for some numbers, Martin Short is 5 foot 7 inches tall, and like I said, he was 37 in 1990 when most of the movie was shot. So props were generally a bit oversized, and other actors would stand on boxes to appear taller than Clifford, and just some classic forced perspective work. And the movie made Siskel and Ebert's worst of 1994 list. with the critics saying that Martin Short looked creepy playing a 10-year-old boy.
What an honor.
What an honor.
They're not wrong.
Ebert, in particular, had some unkind words about the Larry the Scary Rex sequence. He thought it looked awful and cheap.
Oh my!
So
yeah,
no.
It's a good thing he's not around anymore.
Yeah.
We'd be in some fisticuffs.
We would have to summon him to the podcast and throw down.
I feel like that's where the majority of the budget had to have gone.
So the movie was directed by Paul Flaherty, brother of Joe Flaherty, who I guess would most easily or most readily point to he's the dad on Freaks and Geeks.
Second City's Joe Flaherty.
Yeah, Second City's Joe Flaherty.
Yeah,
Second City's Dracula is Joe Flaherty. And the Flaherty brothers are from Pittsburgh, actually. And so Paul was a writer for all the iterations of Second City. He was a writer for the Tracy Ullman Show and created the TV show Maniac Mansion. His only directing work that followed Clifford was like the majority of Martin Short's primetime Glick show, the Jiminy Glick TV show, and some Mad TV segments. Subsequent writing work he did included work on Muppets Tonight, and then he continued to work with Short writing the Martin Short Show and Glick. The movie was co-written by Stephen Campman and William Porter, who were credited as Bobby Von Hayes and J.D. Rock. The team were so embarrassed by the final cut of the movie that they used pseudonyms for their on-screen credits, along with all the marketing and publicity. They took their names off this movie. They worked as a team throughout the 80s, collaborating on the screenplays for Back to School and a movie called The Couch Trip, and they co-wrote together and co-directed the movie Stealing Home, starring Mark Harmon and Jodie Foster. Clifford was their final collaboration. Not many notable writing credits follow for Campman. He was also an actor who appeared in like almost 50 episodes of Newhart and had small roles in various films, including like Multiplicity and Analyze That. William Porter, not much notable work all around outside of the collaborations I mentioned, and then creative burnout with the movie that happened to people, which was Clifford.
Interesting.
I was interested to look up the producers on this movie and see what else they were responsible for, because, you know, producers the direct producers generally have to do a lot of work to get a movie off the ground, and it can say a certain thing. You know, it's just interesting to see what some of these people have done. One of the producers, I didn't think there's a lot interesting on his resume, but Larry Brenzer, we have him at least partially to thank for Good Morning Vietnam, The Burbs, and mostly Freddy Got Fingered. And also I guess Krippendorf's Tribe, which is a real movie.
Wow.
What
a trilogy.
I've actually covered Krippendorf's Tribe on a different podcast that I used to do, and it's weird that I can actually see parallels between that movie and Freddy Got Fingered. There's parts of it that don't feel too dissimilar. I don't know why I feel that way, but I love Freddy Got Fingered. Anyway,
when are they going to make? They should sequelize this and Freddy Got Fingered and call it Clifford Got Fingered.
Oh my God! Would Martin Short do this? These are the questions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like what is he doing right now?
I think the most interesting, major credit on the movie I looked up was the director of photography, John A. Alonzo, who started out as an actor mostly in small parts on TV and westerns in the 1960s. He began working as a DP for documentaries and moved on to features, and his notable work before Clifford included Vanishing Point, one of his first features, Harold and Maude, Chinatown, Bad News Bears, Scarface, Overboard, Steel Magnolias, Internal Affairs, Navy SEALs, Cool World.
Ooh, Navy SEALs.
Yeah, very same. And The Meteor Man. And subsequent work included Star Trek Generations. He passed in 2001 and worked up until he died. And the composer on this film was Richard Gibbs, who we have previously discussed on this show in our show about the gnome named Norm. But just a little recap, he was formerly the keyboard player for Oingo Boingo from the late 70s until 1982. Many scoring credits, including Son-in-Law, The Chase, Dr. Dolittle, I Spy, and the original miniseries of the revival of Battlestar Galactica. He's done a lot of work. He continues to do so. Ribs. Good dude. Some of the score sounded a little not too dissimilar from some of the Moonbeam movies we've watched for this podcast, Travis. A little bit cheap and easy. Like, especially I think I felt that way about the opening theme of the movie. But
yeah, you see that.
The rest of the score was, I mean, it's not a bad score. So yeah, those are the people who made the movie. So like really for all intents and purposes, this movie is an offshoot of creative forces that came together during Second City.
Yeah.
And so like I do feel there is a story like where this character came from, like Martin Short, I'm sure had some input there. I would love to know if the script was originally thought to be for an actual 10-year-old, and then the idea came later to make Martin Short the 10-year-old. These things are unclear. There are a lot of questions that I cannot answer about the movie Clifford.
Yeah, now that you bring that up, it does feel that way. It almost feels like an SNL movie, and that Clifford would have been an SNL character.
Yeah, it feels a lot like that to me. It feels like Clifford is a character from a property that doesn't exist. Like we're supposed to be familiar with the idea of it enough to be okay with it in the context of a movie similar to Mary Catherine Gallagher or the brothers in Night at the Roxbury. Like if those guys just came on in a movie, it's hard to take them seriously as characters and human beings because they're so patently ridiculous. But because we had the context of them as sketch characters, it sat a little better. Clifford, it's a good comparison to draw. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah. But I guess we'll move on into the cast now with that. So, we've got Martin Short, obviously, most famous for, Three Amigos, Inner Space. He was in a film I watched a lot as a kid, Pure Luck, because my dad liked it a whole lot. Captain Ron, so many things. And
that's a good one.
Yeah. Jiminy Glick. It's kind of what he became known for later.
Ed Grimley.
I would say.
Yeah, Ed Grimley.
Yeah.
Classic SNL character. I love Ed Grimley. Total weirdo.
Can't forget the Santa Claus 3.
That's right. Santa Claus 3 is the doctor in Inherent Vice.
John Mulaney's sitcom Mulaney.
Oh, yes.
I'm sorry I interrupted you, Travis.
Sitcom.
Oh, it's all right. Yeah. No, I recently watched Inherent Vice, and when he showed up, I was like, What's this? What's going on? Why is he in this movie?
I've still never seen Inherent Vice, and now I'm actually far more interested in watching Inherent Vice. Not that I was disinterested before. I'm just more interested now.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, we got Martin Short there doing what, he's doing. And then we got the late, great Charles Grodin, who,
R.I.P.
Most known for, like, Beethoven, Heartbreak Kid, Midnight Run, the 1976 King Kong, which I recently watched that as well, and that's some crazy stuff going on in that movie. He openly says at one point to Jessica Lange that Kong was trying to rape her. Use that terminology, and I'm like,
it's been a long time since I've watched King Kong.
Yeah. Yep.
A new Blu-ray of that just came out, actually. It's got all the deleted scenes. That was
and the Great Muppet Caper.
Oh, nice.
Probably my favorite role of his.
Also from Pittsburgh, Charles Grodin.
Oh,
okay.
BT dubs. Pittsburgh's Charles Grodin. The first time I saw him as a very old man, I hadn't seen him at all in like the years between Clifford and Beethoven and very old Charles Grodin, and that was a shocker.
Yeah, I didn't see those pictures until he passed away, and that was like all that was coming up. I was like, oh, okay, so he didn't just look like that for the rest of his life.
No, yeah. So, but yeah, he was great. Man, he's great
Oh, yeah.
in this movie. His performance in this movie is so
He's
good.
phenomenal. I think he's still, this might be a controversial take, I think he's still my favorite part of So I Married an Axe Murderer. And he's in it for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, you know, dude, So I Married an Axe Murderer is not really a great movie.
Nope. But he's wonderful in all 2 minutes of it.
I like remember all of the beat poetry in that movie, and I hate that I remember all of it.
Oh, I see. He was also in The Couch Trip with Dan Aykroyd.
Oh, interesting. Oh, that's an
Yeah.
Aykroyd movie?
Yeah, it's got Dan Aykroyd.
I didn't even
I
look
keep
it up.
seeing it. It's on Amazon Prime right now, so I've been seeing like the little thumbnail for it recently.
Dude, shit,
And Walter Matthau. This is a movie I'm gonna have to check out.
Is this movie worth watching?
I don't know.
Can it be? Directed by Michael Ritchie. Hey viewers, if you got the inside scoop on The Couch Trip, a movie with an unbelievably forgettable title from Michael Ritchie, director of Golden Child and Fletch. If you have opinions
And
on
Bad
this
News
movie,
Bears, right?
Oh, and Bad News Bears, yeah. If you have opinions on this movie, please let us know if it's worth watching.
I do know Midnight Run is worth watching.
Yeah,
That's
I should watch Midnight Run.
Good one. All right. So then we've got Mary Steenburgen, which her career, like for the she's been around for so long, and I didn't realize it until I watched Time After Time, like a little later on into like early adulthood, and I was like, whoa, she's from Back to the Future Part 3, and then she's in Step Brothers, Last Man on Earth most recently is what I know her from.
Love her so much on Last Man on Earth.
Oh yeah, she's in the she's really good in the final season of Justified as well. She's phenomenal in that.
That's the only season I've not seen.
Oh, she plays one of the two big bads, and she is so good.
I like early in my camera career, I worked with her for like 2 or 3 days. Incredibly sweet human being, like totally kind, wonderful human being. She's great.
That doesn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah.
Oh, and also terrific as herself in Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah. I want to rewatch Last Man on Earth now. She's so freaking funny in that show. Holy crap. Oh, yeah. Television.
It'd be so hard to watch Last Man on Earth and know that it like
A real pandemic.
ends the way it does.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna...
Well, yeah, both.
But yeah, interesting. I find with this movie and her doing Step Brothers as well, is playing, the maternal figure to adults playing children, or vice versa.
Right. Yeah. Is that a running theme? Does she do that any other time? I don't know.
I mean, I don't
Did
really
they cast
think
her
so.
in Step Brothers because of Clifford? That's the real question.
That could be a thing, but she does always have that quality to her. I feel. I don't know if it's from this movie or even from like Back to the Future Part 3, where she feels like very patient and maternal, and I don't know. It's just this interesting characteristic of hers. And then we've got old Dabney Coleman.
Oh my God.
From 9 to 5's Dabney Coleman.
Yeah.
Sarah and I watched 9 to 5 like a few months ago, and that movie goes places I really did not think it was. I'm like, this is not a movie I thought was like this.
I was shown that movie.
Michelle and I rewatched it a while ago as well.
Sorry to step on you.
You're all right. Go ahead.
I was shown that movie in a college class, and I don't remember what class, but it wasn't a film class. I think it was like a psychology class, maybe.
Interesting.
But it was yeah.
I can see that.
It was cool. I like 9 to 5. I don't remember it very well, but I remember liking it more than I expected to. I should revisit that movie. That's on something, right?
yeah.
That's on a service?
It's on Prime. I think that's where Michelle and I watched it.
Okay.
That or Hulu. So yeah, also in War Games, You've Got Mail. He's got a lot of credits. He was Chief Quimby and Inspector Gadget, Matthew Broderick.
Oh, wonderful. He's in a weird, not very good movie from the, I think, early 80s called Prey TV, with John Ritter, that Devo appears in briefly as an alter ego band called Dove, the Band of Love. It's about televangelists basically just, being con people and stealing money from people. Dabney Coleman is a televangelist in Prey TV. It's pretty fun.
That tracks.
It's not a very good movie, but I mean, like, it's got a little bit of charm, just like the smallest bit.
And then we've got Richard Kind.
Oh
yeah.
Who's just early on in the movie playing Clifford's very put upon father, and
He's so good.
He's phenomenal.
you know him from Spin City. He's in a lot of Pixar films. He's in A Serious Man and Argo. He's
been in so many
He
things.
works.
Yeah, he works.
Yeah.
Travis, do you remember when we saw him?
I do remember at the George Lopez show.
Yeah,
well,
we-
not there, but we were on the lot.
Yeah,
saw
it
him.
was the Universal lot, right?
I thought it was Warner Brothers.
Oh, you're right.
but
It was
could have
Warner
been.
Brothers. No, you're right. It was Warner Brothers. And we were just standing in the corral line on the lot, where there's work happening. We're on a studio lot. Like, there's just people walking around, and one of those people happened to be Richard Kind going to somewhere and then from somewhere.
Yeah.
While we were standing there and told that we weren't allowed in yet because the first show ran long and George Lopez needed to eat. And I disagreed.
George Lopez does need to eat.
George Lopez does need to eat.
Friggin'
I will
George.
say,
I will say, if I've got only one complaint about this
it's
movie,
not enough Richard.
it's not enough Richard.
Yeah, I was really hoping he'd come back in the end at some point, but he doesn't.
Yeah. Nope, he just wanted to be done with Clifford forever. I wouldn't be surprised if there was more with him that was then excised from the final cut of the movie.
Yeah, I could see that. And then we've got Clifford's mom was played by Jennifer Savage. She's been here and there. She was in Evolution, Saint Elsewhere, Jag, but she's most notably known for this movie, I guess, from what I see. And then
I think if you had a dad in the 90s, the dad watched Jag. I wouldn't know, but I assume that's the way that worked with that show. Did your dad watch Jag in the 90s, Trav?
you know what? I don't know if that was one.
It's definitely a dad show, though. I
aired on
100% agree with
It
that.
aired on USA at like 4 o'clock on Saturday afternoons, right? Like that was like primetime dad time slot.
Yeah, my dad was not watching TV in the afternoons.
Oh,
It
okay.
was Saturday evenings, Walker, Texas Ranger. That was the dad show.
Oh, too
There we
good
go.
for Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman right beforehand, eh?
So who else
and
was
then-
in Dr. Quinn Medicine? No, who else was in this movie Clifford?
Ben Savage.
Little
was in
Ben
those tacked-on
Savage.
scenes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is
Which-
this pre Boy Meets World? When did that start?
Ooh, where is it? Boy Meets World started in '93, so this would have
So
been
this is like concurrent.
exactly yeah.
Interesting.
But post Little Monsters,
Oh yeah.
and like the beginning with the framing device, I'm like, is this like kind of an homage to like his brother in Princess Bride?
Interesting. I'm also now wondering about the internal politics of the Savage family, and what mom and dad did, and why so many Savages are actors. Isn't there a third Savage?
Oh, I don't know.
Isn't there
I
a-
only know these two.
I might be wrong.
Is Andrea Savage related to them?
Perhaps.
No.
Savage Steve Holland, I think that's the dad, right? That's a okay, Savage Steve Holland joke. Never mind.
Well, and Fred Savage mostly directs now,
He
right?
does.
Yeah.
I just found that out recently because I'm like, Daddy Day Camp, directed by Fred Savage, is the only movie, but he directs a lot of TV.
Yeah, he's done a lot of episodes of It's Always Sunny. And then he shows up in Rules of Attraction briefly as a guy shooting heroin in between his toes.
Well, that's fun.
Okay, so they have a sister named Kayla Savage.
Yeah.
Or Kala, Kayla or Kala. Who was in the MTV show Undressed for a couple episodes, and also 8 Simple Rules, that show that existed.
An episode of that 70s show.
And she sang a song on the Daddy Day Camp soundtrack.
Oh, that was very nice.
Nepotism will take you places.
Yeah, I guess so.
Also, did you know there was a Granddaddy Daycare?
Oh God, is it Danny Trejo?
It is Danny Trejo.
Oh man, who's the other granddaddy?
Oh,
is there another
I don't have
granddaddy?
that one.
Is it just one guy?
There's a few of them, but I do not have that pulled up right now. I just discovered that.
You had me at Trejo.
The first suggestion was Granddaddy Purple. That was the first Google suggestion. It looks like Barry Bostwick is another one of them.
Yeah.
Oh,
George
wow.
Wendt is one.
Oh my God.
Wilson, Hal Linden.
Oh man.
Eric
Okay.
Morris.
This is a real movie.
This will be a fun one to cover later.
Oh no.
All right. But anyways, that's the cast of Clifford that I have.
And Granddaddy Daycare is the third and final installment in the Daddy Daycare film series, according to Wikipedia.
For now.
So far, yeah, it was only released 2 years ago, Alex.
I don't know. It seems pretty definitive.
Great Granddaddy Daycare.
Oh God, and that's Robert De Niro.
Ooh.
And it's like simultaneously a Daddy Daycare sequel and a Bad Grandpa sequel.
Bad Granddaddy Daycare.
Was that the movie where Aubrey Plaza like power banged Robert De Niro?
I did not see it, so I do not know.
Oh man, I don't know.
But now that I know that there is a movie where that happens.
But now that I know that there is a movie where that happens, I am curious.
Yeah, there's some movie, whatever
I
movie
can
with
tell you
Aubrey
this much,
Plaza.
it is not Black Bear where that happens.
It is. Yeah, I don't think that's Black Bear. I think it's Bad Grandpa. That's in the bad universe of films. Bad Santa, Bad Moms, Bad Teacher. Those are all the same film series. Did you know?
All right. So now, I mean, that's all I really have for the cast.
Okay.
That's really all there is.
Yeah.
I tried. I will say one of the cast things. I tried to find out who the singing women were from the what was the song that they parodied, because it wasn't in the song. It wasn't in the music credits at the end of the movie, and the singers weren't in the cast credits either. So I have no idea what the deal with that song is, and I can't remember it now or why it seemed like something worth talking about. But it was that musical scene that was the theme song for. It's a different thing I watched today. I smoked too much weed. Let's move on.
I was like, are you talking about the Larry the Scary Rex theme song?
Nope.
Because that is the only song I remember in this movie.
Moving on. Talking about an episode of Erie, Indiana, y'all.
Oh, okay. We would not have been able to guess that at all.
Oh, man. To the public at large, please know that I am a productive person. I keep my apartment clean, and I keep money coming into the house, and I keep my girlfriend happy. But sometimes I smoke too much weed and think that an episode of Erie, Indiana happened within the film Clifford. Oh, boy.
Oh.
I mean, Clifford feels like the premise could have happened in an episode of Erie, Indiana.
Even when I have pages of notes where that scene would be in. And it's not, because it's not in this movie. Okay. So I guess we should talk about this movie now.
Well, now that we've wrapped up the cast proper, we can talk about the cast that was in Star Trek.
Oh, right, the Trek connection.
All astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
I love that.
Yeah, I just rewatched First Contact, so I pulled a few awesome James Cromwell quotes that I'm like, I just want to start pulling these.
Nice.
Sweet Jesus!
Does he refer to anybody by name? Does he say like Picard, Riker, or anything? Then you could splice that with "That'll do, Pig," but like "That'll do,
Ooh.
That'll do, Captain."
That'll do, Picard.
Oh, I really don't know that he does.
That'll do, Jean-Luc. That'll do, Commander Riker. That'll do. Just include some. Never mind.
Show them your badge so they know you're Starfleet.
I'm gonna fade out that idea. But yeah, should I fade in this Trek Connections slide you got here?
Yeah. So we got first up is Jennifer Savage, and she is an actress who played Trenton Fala in Star Trek Deep Space Nine in the 5th season, The Darkness and the Light. So that's Clifford's mom. And then we've got Jennifer Nash, which I've got her Trek stuff, but you want to know what she was in Clifford. So I am so out of sorts with this one. She played Wendy in Clifford. And yeah, in Star Trek, she played Maribor in Star Trek The Next Generation, The Inner Light, which that's
The Inner Light. The Inner Light is so great.
Mm-hmm. And then her brother, here's a little bit of trivia, Marcus Nash, later played young Jean-Luc Picard in the episode Tapestry. 2 very good episodes.
Yeah. Tapestry's a great one. And we got this blue fella, this blue Uncle Fester at the end.
That is Shelley Desai, and he was the mini mart clerk in Clifford. And
the one that was assaulted for chocolate?
Yeah. For whatever reason that, we'll talk about it, but that convenience store was out of all chocolate. I don't know how, but he portrayed the bullion barber Vassal in Star Trek The Next Generation in the episode Data's Day.
Now, have we seen a Trek Connection person play that same species in a different episode of that we did? Because I feel like I've seen that blue dude recently, but I might just be confusing him with a different blue dude.
Yeah, bullions are... Yeah, they're seen throughout the series, and... most of them are barbers.
Got it. It baffles me that an entire species and society evolved to be barbers, and they have no hair.
Yeah, it's weird.
I have so many questions now. How does that happen? Anyway. That's it. That's we could talk for an hour about how this species evolved to cut hair.
My friend is bald and he owns 2 barber shops. So.
Right, but like human beings evolved, we do different things as a species. Like Dustin, you're a comedian. I work in the film industry. Travis, you do multimedia stuff. You work at the company you work for, and in a capacity that I feel like I'm talking about Chandler's job from Friends at this point, and I'm sorry. But we're not all barbers. How does a species that doesn't have hair naturally, do any of them have hair, Travis?
No, they all look like this, where they've got the thing down the middle of the head, and they're all blue.
So how does a species evolve, not get killed off, develop the skills in an insular way to become barbers. Is there a symbiotic species on the planet that needed tending to?
Tribbles.
There we go. All right, I'm satisfied enough that we can move on.
Cool, because I've got no other Star Trek pools beyond that.
Yeah, he was our last one. So,
Yeah, all right.
all right, now we can talk about Clifford proper and why this bullion ran out of chocolate at the mini mart.
So we have like a storybook style opening title sequence. It's cute. I like the drawings. And it starts off in the year 2050, which I appreciate as being still in the future from now. Too often I revisit films from my childhood that are set in what was then the future that we have since surpassed, and we didn't get that. But maybe in 2050, Clifford will be a priest. Who knows? The future is yet to be written.
Also, it should be noted, Dustin and I both watched this on HBO Max. I don't know how you watched it, Alex?
No, I did. Same.
Okay. So you got to see the Turner Classic Movies Film Festival presentation preamble beforehand.
Oh, I actually didn't watch that.
Oh, you didn't?
No, but I did. Was it Martin Short talking about how the film was kind of just like misunderstood in its time, or was it a different like academic
was some other
intro?
Gentleman, yeah, talking about Martin Short's performance.
Okay.
But it's just interesting to see this film presented in that way, because I've seen one of these before, but it was for the taking of Pelham 123, which makes a lot more sense.
Sure,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, he kept going on. I was like, oh, this is like a serious film critic talking about Clifford.
Yeah, in a scholarly
feel
way.
like-
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Had what he shot been shot, more recently, the focus on the film would have been on Charles Grodin a little more to honor him, I think.
Probably true, yeah. But I mean, like, right out of the gate in this movie, like, from this first scene, Short is unbelievably hilarious. Just like the first thing that I couldn't stop laughing at was he's just walking down in his merry way and he gets hit in the head with a basketball and totally drops. And then he gets proceeded to hit with several more things, the bag and then Ben Savage, all drop on him.
Yes.
It's hilarious every time. And then Ben Savage tries to run away and he fakes a heart attack. And it's such a great physical comedy gag.
Yes.
And yeah, so like right out of the gate, like we're just drawn in, or I'm just drawn in by Short's performance. And the next scene we get is them on the plane. They're flying to Honolulu. I'm gonna try to not go over the movie point by point, but there's like some specific stuff I feel like to address. Clifford is terrorizing the woman in the seat in front of him, and the first instance of him gaslighting people in this movie is just right here in the first instance of him as a young child.
Yep.
And he's talking to his dad. They're on the way to Honolulu. His dad has a conference lecture, like a talk at a conference to give. And Clifford wants to stop in Los Angeles to go to Dinosaur World, a theme park about dinosaurs. He has a best friend, plastic dinosaur named Stefan. A Brontosaurus, I think, that he talks to throughout the entire film. And
shoves up Richard Kine's nose.
He does do that imminently here. But he pleads to his dad. He doesn't understand how they can be going so close to Dinosaur World yet so far away. And this is why they lock the cockpit in planes now, because Martin Short just got into the cockpit of the plane and the pilot said, we can't land in Los Angeles unless there is an emergency. So the kid causes an emergency so they can land in Los Angeles. I like at this point, I was taking notes. I don't even know what to write. The dialogue is absolutely unbelievable. The whole time, like what he's saying stuff like, I'm sorry, Miss Nice Adult Lady. And things like this. The dialogue is very weird and could be clunky in the hands of other performers, I think. But Short just pulls it off flawlessly the whole movie, and it's indicated from this very first instance of Clifford as a child. Yeah. What else? We meet Uncle Martin.
Land. Yeah.
Yeah, we meet Uncle Martin. He's an architect for the city. He's planning the city's like new subway system in LA. So he did a bad job of designing the public transit system in LA. Not good work, Uncle Martin.
Well, it was blown up.
Right, his model was blown up in the end. Thank you, Clifford. So, yeah, Sarah, played by Mary Steenburgen, is his fiance. She works in the daycare center in this architecture firm, I guess it is.
Yeah, I don't know what else you would call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she works.
Yeah, like she works for them somehow, but like it's kind of a nebulous connection as to like why there's a daycare there.
Yeah. He suggests that he would spend time with Clifford to prove to Sarah that he's good with kids. Because she's worried that she won't want to have kids with him. She wants to have kids. So when this thing comes up, when his estranged brother lands in Los Angeles suddenly, and because Clifford's been banned from the flight. He can't get back on the plane, and his dad needs to go make the money at the conference. So Dad, like hat in hand, calls his estranged brother and asks him to watch Clifford for a week while Mom and Dad go to Honolulu. And Martin's like, yeah. And Clifford is tooting away on his recorder. And let me say, I love my brother. I have a really great relationship with my brother, Robin. He's a great human being, great graphic designer, lives in New York City. When he was a kid, he had a recorder, and he'd be on the computer in the dining room, and he would have both hands on the keyboard and just prop the recorder up against the edge of the desk and just toot an open note endlessly. And it was the most annoying thing on the planet ever, was him and that damn recorder. Of like all the things that he did that annoyed me growing up, the thing that I remember in my 30s is that damn recorder. So Clifford playing
Some
a recorder.
PTSD happening here.
Yeah, I was like identifying with Charles Grodin in advance because Clifford just had this plastic instrument of terror. Anyway, Martin comes to pick up Clifford. Clifford picks up his luggage, which includes a surfboard, a stereo, and a dog, which he stole from people who had them as their luggage. The dog vanishes from the movie very quickly, by the way.
Yeah, it takes off after the cat.
Oh, right, yeah.
And
Right,
then we
there's
never
the
see
cat,
either of
and
them
then-
again.
There's no concern about the cat either.
No. Yeah. He uses Steph and the dinosaur to creep out Sarah in the shower. And Clifford basically falls in love with Sarah at first sight. So the whole rest of the movie is like Clifford kind of competing for Sarah's affections and attention against Martin. It's insane. Like, and it's like I'm just describing things that happen in the movie, but none of the magic is in the things that happen in the movie. It's all in how it escalates in the performances of these two actors. It's like on paper, I can imagine the script being funny, but it's all totally hinged on Martin Short and Charles Grodin's performance and their chemistry together, which is so great. There's this shot from in the scene in The Next Day at the daycare with Sarah, and Martin comes to visit. And there's this walk and talk where Sarah and Martin are just walking and talking, and it's like this normal conversation, and Clifford is just wreaking havoc in the background the whole time. He's jumping on furniture and knocking stuff over in the office and just being a freaking pest the whole time. It's amazing. It's an amazing bit of physical comedy. Then Dabney Coleman starts openly hitting on Sarah, and Martin gets tasked with redesigning his entire layout for the subway system in 2 days. Bummer. Clifford is also an electronics wizard and screws with a video image with using a screwdriver at this point.
Yeah. Perfectly, capable of doing that back then. Photoshop had yet to be invented, but he could do that.
But you had a screwdriver and a video editor, and that works. So this is the gas station scene. Clifford, as he's driving with Martin, becomes actually truly unhinged for the first time and demands a pile of chocolate. Or what? I can't remember the term that he used. He used some chocolate, something of chocolate. I don't remember.
Yeah, after he has violently jerked the wheel to try and steer Charles Grodin towards Dinosaur World.
Yeah. So then Martin goes in and basically assaults the poor clerk to get the chocolate. Clifford looks over to the car next to them where they're parked and notices the whole family is going to Dinosaur World and one of the kids is dressed as a dinosaur. So this is one of my favorite gags in the movie. He follows the kid in the dinosaur suit out to the bathroom as the kid goes to the bathroom, pays him money in the bathroom to trade clothes, and then tries to disguise himself in the dinosaur costume and go with the family to Dinosaur World, which doesn't work out for him. Martin finds the kid in the bathroom and gets very mad, and it gets sorted out. But what I love about this scene is that it is a totally different dinosaur costume that is in Martin Short's size, and then when the kid is wearing Clifford's clothes, they're like the kid's size, or like even like a little bit small on the kid. Just to like reinforce the illusion that Martin is an actual small 10-year-old boy.
Yup.
And there's not a lot of instances of that happening throughout the film, and I really liked that. What else? This is when the relationship between Clifford and Martin becomes openly hostile. I mean, do I need to keep talking about this movie point for point? What else is great in this movie? When
it is talked about, like that Clifford paid the boy for something in the bathroom, and the implications there.
Yeah. There's also this line it's at the next scene where Martin is lecturing Clifford, where they're talking about, Martin called out the boss for having a wig, Dabney Coleman for having a wig, and he was scolded for that. And Clifford tells Martin that one of his teachers has a wig, and he likes to let them play with it, and Clifford uses it as a frisbee. And then he says, the art teacher also borrows it sometimes for different reasons. And that's just this weird thing left hanging in the air. I don't even know what that could mean, honestly.
No, it's so weird.
Very vague.
Because it feels like it has a sexual connotation, but I don't know how you would sexually use a man's toupee. I just don't know. I don't want to know.
Yeah, let's not theorize on that.
Please do not drop it in the comments what you think that means. Don't. Or do, because it boosts engagement. So, what else we got here? Clifford continues to become more unhinged, and he threatens Martin to do more insane stuff if he doesn't get what he wants. This is like the first time Clifford threatens Martin, and concocts his next scheme using a secretly recorded conversation he has of him and Martin.
And edits it expertly.
It's so good that it almost sounds like it was ADR'd that way.
Almost.
So Clifford just wreaks havoc at the super fancy anniversary dinner for Sarah's parents. Martin's giving a speech, and Clifford replaces his Bloody Mary with Tabasco sauce, just straight Tabasco sauce, which he takes a big old swig of. Then slips lipstick in his pocket, and he puts it on when he's thinking he's putting on chapstick. Martin at one point is starting to attack Clifford with baguettes. And this is after Clifford has dropped a remark to Sarah indicating that Martin is mean to him. So, yeah.
At one point, Mary Steenburgen or somebody asks Clifford what he wants to be when he grows up, and his response is a dinosaur. Which I found humorous because Mary Steenburgen would, in Step Brothers, marry a character that also wanted to be a dinosaur when they grew up, Richard Jenkins.
Did this movie just have like a deep, deep influence on Mary Steenburgen and her ensuing career?
I really don't know.
We should call her and ask her. So yeah, so then at this point the police show up and arrest Martin, actually, because what Clifford has cobbled together is a message saying, "Hi, I'm Martin. There's a bomb under City Hall. Have a nice day. Goodbye." And yeah, he's arrested for this, and it's pretty good. He gets out, and the next morning, like, Clifford spends the night with Sarah, and his Charles Grodin's thinly veiled rage in this scene while he's trying to play off like everything's okay to Sarah is just so beautiful.
Him dunking Martin Short face first into a bowl of cereal is so good.
I think this is the scene where you can kind of most plainly see that Martin Short was interacting with a lot of like oversized props. Everything on the table appears like it's Costco size.
Yeah, that bowl is huge.
Yeah. So, yeah. Sarah is going to San Francisco with the boss. And Clifford makes pretend like goes after her. And that's what he tells Martin. He leaves a note on the milk carton that he's gone to the train station. Clifford gets on the train. Martin follows him onto the train. Clifford leaves the train when Martin can't see him. Martin goes to San Francisco. Clifford goes back to the house, throws a massive party, telling a bunch of young people that they can have whatever kind of party they want at the house as long as they take him to Dinosaur World the next day. Meanwhile, Charles Grodin is in San Francisco, and he has this deadline, and he finds Mary Steenburgen getting, advanced upon by the boss on his way by happenstance. She fends him off later in a limo by tearing off his toupee and throwing it out the window.
Was another scene that was like, oh,
yeah,
this is bizarre.
Yeah.
This is in a children's movie.
It is, because that's just how commonplace that kind of thing was.
Yeah, it would happen again in Jingle All the Way.
Yep.
Yeah.
So at one point here, it seems that Clifford has like basically ruined the relationship between Martin and Sarah. Like when she tells him off at the restaurant, he keeps in that conversation he keeps referring to Clifford as Hitler. It's not just once that he refers to Clifford as Hitler. It's multiple times he refers to a 10-year-old boy as Hitler. And there's also a brief scene at the party where Clifford is dancing, and it's one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in a movie. Is Clifford dancing at this house party?
That dance might be like on par for my favorite dance in a movie, right up with Crispin Glover in Friday the 13th Part 4.
It's a good list. When Martin finally gets back to his house, it's in complete chaos because the aftermath of the party. Clifford is tied up, which we know he's done himself, and Martin knows he's done himself. But Clifford claims that there were bikers who told him they would touch him in his no-no place, tied him up, and thrashed the house, and told him stories, some of which were fun, but some of which were scary.
I like that. Told him stories about their biker lives. Some of them were fun, but some of them were scary.
It's so.
It might be my favorite line of the whole movie.
So Martin's just like, you know what? Great. He's tied up. I'm boarding up the house. I'm boarding up this door. I'm boarding up his windows. If he's tied up, he's going to stay in that room, and I'm going to get some work done. But Sarah calls, and Clifford manages to pick up the phone. So she comes over and breaks out Clifford. And Clifford slips out of his restraints and even says, "Sometimes I scare myself." So, yeah. Clifford has hidden the data cassette with plans for the transit system that Martin needs, and Martin tears apart the house to find it and finds it taped underneath a drawer in his dresser. Where are we now? Boss has a ponytail now. Dabney Coleman, he got a new wig and he has a ponytail now. Martin begins his presentation, puts in the data cassette, which somehow promptly causes the model to explode. It seems that Clifford somehow did put a small explosive under City Hall in the bomb. And there was a bomb under City Hall. I think that's underexplored in the film, but I think from context clues that's what happened.
Yes, absolutely.
And Martin breaks. This is a great scene with Charles Grodin where Dabney Coleman comes and goes, "Did you do this?" And he's just like, "Yes, I did." And he confesses to doing this, and he's fired and truly goes off the deep end. And he now has the singular task of, I want to destroy Clifford. Clifford is...
By taking him to Dinosaur World.
Yeah. Clifford is playing flute annoyingly in bed when he is kidnapped by Martin. Clifford calls him a mental case on the way.
Yes. While wrapped in a straitjacket.
We get to Dinosaur World. The matte painting work going on here I really like. Thought the design was very cool, and I just like matte paintings. So Martin basically straps Clifford into Larry the Scary Rex, which he's the most excited about ever.
Because Martin helped
he engineered
create
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And basically threatens to never let him off. Threatens to never let Clifford off the ride. And sends him on the ride. And it's a really fun sequence. I think this ride is super cool. I don't know what Ebert was thinking. And in terms of Short's performance, the sheer exuberant joy he displays in this scene is so much fun because it's the only time when Clifford's like actually at peace and happy. And he's beaming. And when he comes back around at the end of the ride, he goes, "That was fun. By the way, how many years do you think you'll get for kidnapping me, Uncle 10 Most Wanted?" It's great. Martin sends him around twice more, eventually elevating up to hyperdrive when everything goes haywire. A pterodactyl crashes into the giant T-Rex. Immediately, the giant T-Rex's skin falls off of its face, resulting in this terrifying robot monster. Travis, thank you for pulling images of that specifically, which are now on the screen. Was this auctioned off? Where did these behind-the-scenes photos come from?
This was auctioned off.
Okay.
Yeah. Which, it's crazy. I want to know more about the creation of this because this was one of the best-looking things, like in this film and in like, I don't know, a lot of films of this era.
This looked really cool.
It looked really good. The way it moved, everything about it.
Yeah.
Like, did Stan Winston do this?
Yeah, I actually didn't look up who did it, but I didn't notice that. I watched the credits. I didn't see anybody like in the effects department that pinged like, "Oh, these people." But
I'm also curious, like, what scale this head was at.
It seemed pretty big because it seemed largely it seemed like they constructed big sections of a real ride. And that's also something I would like to know more about in a behind-the-scenes kind of way. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on, Shout Select. I can't imagine, like, Arrow doing this movie. Maybe Vinegar Syndrome would consider this movie, but I don't think that Warner's would license it. I can imagine Shout doing it. Yeah, so the giant T-Rex collapses right on top of Clifford, and then Martin is forced to run and make the choice to either save this child, who he hates a lot, or let him fall to his death. And there's the cinematography here. I actually really loved this moment because they're both like Charles Grodin is just in blackness with smoke behind him. That's the entirety of his visual as he's contemplating whether or not to let a child die. And Martin is largely, or Clifford is largely the same, just the smoke-filled background. I really liked the dreamy look of this specific section. And Martin actually like out loud weighs the pros and cons of letting Clifford die, like in a big a big picture kind of way. Like, is it okay for the world if I allow this kid to live?
Yep.
So, but after a few tense moments, he rescues him. Clifford begins to apologize profusely. It seems kind of genuine. Martin comes back and tells him that he hates him, and Clifford says he really is sorry. And I had to go back and transcribe this because I love these lines of dialogue. Sorry is a human emotion, and as we all know, you're not a human boy. You're just this destructive thing. Eventually, everybody just gets to hate you. Let's go. And it's like, that is a dark place to button that scene on. But then we drift back to old Clifford, and he's telling that he learned from that moment. And then, and this is where the movie conflicts with itself for a minute, because the kid asks him if he ever made up or apologized to Uncle Martin, and he says he sent him 287 letters and he would have liked to but wasn't able to, and then proceeds to tell how he was the ring bearer at the wedding and Uncle Martin forgave him then. And then there's just like a nice ending at the school for waywardish boys, or whatever the name of that place was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what happens in Clifford. That's not the reasons to watch Clifford. Like we've said, the reasons to watch Clifford are that it's way funny because of these two people.
Yeah, I'm real curious what the original cut of this looked like without this framing device for the ending.
Same. I imagine more out there. I imagine like if at no point in the movie is the character of Clifford grounded in a relatable way, which is true of the priest scenes, but not of any of the other movie. Any of the rest of the movie, the character is completely unrelatable. But in the priest scenes, he's actually like a sympathetic character. And I would be really interested to see the version of this movie where he is not at all a sympathetic character, where the two leads of the movie, like neither of them are really sympathetic. The only person we like is Sarah.
Yeah, because like it almost seems like it could have ended with Uncle Martin just walking away and leaving him there.
Totally.
I was like, oh yeah, no, I could understand why they didn't go with that ending for this children's movie.
Ostensibly a children's movie. I'm also very curious to know if it was believed to be a children's movie as they were making it.
I feel like, especially at that point, it's hard to churn out a PG movie without intending it to be consumable by young people.
That's fair, yeah. It's a good point.
We've mentioned Step Brothers a few points, which kind of has some similar themes. Very clearly not marketed towards children.
Yeah.
But this, yeah, and again too, like
for a kid initially.
Was this written for a kid initially?
Some crazy delays, guys. Oh boy.
That's weird. I noticed that too. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
It's all good. I mean, we're pretty much wrapped up, and this is, and to all you podcast listeners, sorry. But it is what it is, man.
You're probably hearing some not the best audio this week. Sorry about that.
There's a lot of echo on your guys' end. It's okay. I'm comfortable being the only one of us who sounds good tonight.
Something that I thought of while watching this movie. Have either of you seen the movie North?
Yeah.
Not since I was a kid.
I got similar vibes from it, just in like they're clearly not the same kind of kid. But in being these like movies that are kind of presented to be like fun and entertaining and whimsical, but they're kind of really sad and dark.
Yeah. I've been interested to check out North as an adult, actually. It's directed by Rob Reiner, and it's
got Bruce Willis in it.
Yeah. Love it.
And Reba.
Oh yeah, with Aykroyd.
Yeah, he visits a whole lot of prospective parents.
Interesting.
FedEx plays a big part in the end.
Oh yeah, the corporation FedEx plays a role in that movie.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, so that's Clifford. Any parting thoughts on this movie? I think we said everything. I said everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Clifford's great. Watch it. It's on HBO Max. It's easy to watch if you have HBO Max or know someone who does.
Whether you're a kid or an adult,
Yeah,
you can access it.
I think it's safe for kids. I think it's safe.
Yeah, I think so.
They don't know what this movie's about. I didn't know what this movie's about. Thought it was just a zany ride. Yeah. So I'm not sure when our next show is going to be, Travis. Maybe sometime during the week. We'll figure it out after the show. But you and I are going to do a show next week.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Should we pick a movie, or should we discuss it after this and then pick it later?
No, let's go ahead and let people know what it would be.
All right, let's figure that out. Where's my lists?
We've talked about Return to Oz. The
Oh yeah,
the horror movie on Disney Plus that Walter Murch directed.
By Walter Murch. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus. Let's do that. Let's do Return to Oz.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, great. All right. Well, that's what we're gonna on. Don't definitely. Okay, here's a hot take. Clifford is way more appropriate for kids than Return to Oz.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Clifford is orders of magnitude less terrifying than Return to Oz.
Yeah. But like Return to Oz is like a fantasy, but we'll see. We'll see like how I feel at the end of the episode next week.
We'll see. All right. And we'll determine a date and time, and we'll announce that.
Yeah. I'm also the one that like while I watch these movies, I try to envision showing these to my children, and I'm like most of the time I'm like, oh, this I don't think so.
I don't think so. All right. Well, Dustin, good luck on your move, man. I'll see you when you're here.
Hell yeah.
You can visit your wall calendar in my apartment.
Yeah, I was gonna say the next time we're doing a show, it'll be the other way around. Dustin will be live from your place.
Yeah, I think we might run into those same problems.
Yeah, I think so too.
Unless I put him in a different room with different hardware, which I could do. I could set that up.
We figure out some kind of hardware, software setup. I don't know.
Yeah, I would just.
It might be easier on your end using OBS and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, but the way we can talk about it off the air, but it's all about the way I have it piped into Zoom and how lazy I am about setting this up.
Well, new place, I should be able to hardwire my connections.
All right.
I'm sure that'll help a great deal.
I'm sure. All right. So why don't you go ahead and take us home, Trav?
Cool. So Dustin, so in the weeks that we're not going to see you, what will you be doing?
Packing for a move, driving across the country, seeing some sights. Got a farewell show if you're in Columbus. Come check that out. Everything else, go to DustinMeadowsComedy.com. I got some show dates coming up. You can find my socials, the Jaws Collaborative Remake Project there, all the other stuff. And then in a month, I'm going to be famous already. That's how it works.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is exactly the timeline.
I'm going to fight Danny McBride and take over his role in Hollywood.
Please. I support that fully.
I actually love Danny McBride. I want to be his best friend.
Fair enough.
Jody Hill's next best boy.
I'll take it. If that was the rest of my career, I would 100% be fine with that.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
There it is. Now it's coming. Part of it came through.
Yeah, only part of it. Interesting.
Yeah.
And Alex, how about you? Where can people find you?
I'm going to promote a slightly different thing this week. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Alex Brunel, like it says right there. Also, my Misfits parody band, Misbits, available at Misbits, misbits.bandcamp.com. There's a 7-inch and a 12-inch available. And I'll tell the world right now that maybe within the next year there may or may not be a complete discography cassette with some new material. We don't know. It's in the planning stages. But
Nice.
I think that we're close to done, and we should be due to lack of interest, but we're not quite. So, yeah, misbits.bandcamp.com. Thank you.
Very cool. You can find me on Twitter at Travis Fishburne. Also, this Tuesday, I am going to be making my big debut in the Schmodown First Class League. I am the first match of the night. We stream live on Twitch. That is going to be on Tuesday, 3 p.m. PST and 6 p.m. if you're on the East Coast. So
Nice.
check it out. See me win my first victory on my way to the title.
Good luck, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, super excited
And-
for that.
Then you can just find the podcast where we stream every week on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Also on Twitter. And please subscribe and leave reviews on any podcast catcher of your choice. So, I think without further ado, stay sane, stay safe, and stay smiling.
Sweet Jesus!